Welcome to today's webinar, and want to thank you for taking time out to join us. My name is Carl Willis. I am the CEO and founder at Remodeling Marketing Team, and today we're going to look at cracking the code of AI and local SEO for you as a home remodeler. And let's get straight to it. We're not talking about a trend today. It's not something that is coming down the road. This is how the game is being played right now. And AI has fundamentally changed how your clients, your customers, are going to find you. And more importantly, how they are choosing you. So the goal today is very simple. And by the end of today's session, you're going to understand how Google actually evaluates your business today and what you need to do to position yourself to win. This is not theory, it's not guesswork. It is actually what's working, and it is my pleasure to be able to walk you through what we're talking about today. And in fact, one of the things that I want to just really point out to you is you're going to see a lot of rapid changes happening with Google. At the end of March, Google's CEO did an interview, and in that nearly hour-long interview, he only mentioned websites twice. What he really talked about is the move to agentic AI and that Google search is going to move in that direction. In fact, today there was an article that came out. Google has just released its first agentic AI search features, and that's something you're going to want to explore as well. So, with that, let's go ahead and dive into our content today. So, we're going to look at how to shape your digital footprint to win trust, rankings, and high value clients and projects. So, let's move on here. Google has actually evolved over the last year and a half to not just a search engine, but Google has evolved from a search engine to a decision engine. And this is something very important for you because it's really changed the behavior of consumers. And in this change of behavior, it's really changing the way that you have to operate within this environment. Because what Google is doing is it is analyzing, it is synthesizing, and it is delivering answers before your prospect ever clicks on anything. Here's what that actually means. Your customer is no longer comparing 10 websites. Google's actually doing that work for them. And if your business is not part of that pre-vetted answer, you actually don't exist. And that's the shift that we really want to bring to your attention. Fewer clicks, higher expectations. So the question becomes, how do you become a part of that answer? I want you to notice here on the graphic that what's happening is Google is creating AI generated summaries. They are analyzing synthesized key data and giving the consumer direct answers. They are answering before that consumer ever clicks. They are using multi-step reasoning, and that means that they are doing the homework for your prospect, and the user journey is actually expedited. The destination is now the answer itself. So that leads to fewer clicks, higher expectations, and it's very critical for you to become a part of that pre-vetted AI answer. Here's something that you also need to grab a hold of. You have to remember that Google has a lot of data on you, on your prospects. And so when that question is being asked, Google is actually looking beyond the question itself to what are the 12 other questions behind that question that are being asked, because they already know what that prospect has been looking at, looking for, researching, asking, where they've been driving to. All of that type of information is being really considered in that search query. And so that's an important concept that you need to be thinking through and understanding. So the hidden buyer's journey is something that is critical when we're thinking about high ticket projects like remodeling. Most remodelers completely miss this. By the time someone calls you, the decision is mostly made. And I want you to be thinking about the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey looks a lot different than it did in years past, because by the time somebody is calling you today, they've already made a lot of steps. The data point nowadays is that there have already been 7 to 12 interactions happening before that buyer actually contacts you now. And so what's happening today is they have read AI summaries, they have watched videos, they have been checking reviews, they have visited competitors, all before they ever pick up the phone or fill out a form to make contact with you. What we're seeing in our own data is normally that is a 7 to 12 interaction process before the point of contact. So here's a direct question for you. What does your business look like across that 7 to 12 touch point journey? Because your job is not to sell on the call anymore. Your job is actually to win before the conversation ever starts. So again, I want you to kind of think through this graphic here. The consumer gets the initial idea, they read the AI overviews, they go and check out house, they watch YouTube videos, they read Google reviews, they visit your competitors, they come back to your website. This is this invisible research phase that's taking place all before the initial contact. And so you've got to remember high ticket decisions are entirely trust driven. The buyer is going to decide who they want to hire before they ever make that call. In fact, that decision is predominantly made by the time they make the call or they fill out a form. So your job has to be to win before that conversation ever starts. It's really a shift in thinking. It's a critical shift in thinking. And so I want to talk about the shift in mindset between the old game and the new game, especially when we talk about SEO. Now, contrary to what you may hear, SEO is not dead, but it is an entirely new game, and it's changed completely. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, Google's CEO did an interview at the end of March. And because you're on this webinar with me, if you'll email me at the end of the webinar, carl@remodelingmarketingteam.com, I'm going to send you a white paper that we actually put out this week based on his interview. And in this hour-long interview, what was telling was not what he said, it was what he didn't say. He only mentioned websites twice. What he said was websites would no longer really be about human behavior, but they would be a data layer for AI agents. Interestingly enough, this week, Google rolled out in their search box their first AI agent layers. You can do some research on that today. Our white paper is called Silence of the Agents. And what that's about is how AI agents are going to be leading the search game in the days ahead. And because you're on this webinar, I do want to send you that white paper. It's about a 10-page white paper, and it's to reposition your thinking in what search is going to look like in the days ahead. He put 2027 as really a target date where you're going to see a major shift happening in the way search is working. So I want to put that in front of you. But here's what's taking place. SEO is not dead, but the game is changing completely. The old game was about keywords and backlinks, trying to outsmart the algorithm. Well, that's not the game anymore. The new game is about entity, it's about authority, and it's about trust. And Google is asking three main questions. Are you real? Are you trusted? And are you everywhere? And if you cannot answer those questions consistently, you don't rank and you don't get chosen. So the core driver in the old game was keywords and backlinks. The core driver in the new game is entity and authority. Keywords still matter, but they no longer are the driver. It is your total authority, and it is you comprehensively as an entity that matters. So the focus in the past was about outsmarting the algorithm. But today it's about proving you are real and you are a trusted authority and expert as an entity. And in the past, user behavior was all about researching and browsing. Well, today it's all about verifying and validating. And the metric of success previously was your website traffic. But today it's about your entire digital footprint, your ecosystem. And so the key insight is, are you real? Are you trusted? And are you everywhere? I want you to think in this term, omnipresence. Are you inescapable? And that's the real question you need to be considering with your brand. Are you inescapable? Can your prospect outrun you? Or are you everywhere that your prospect is? So let's talk about your digital footprint. What does that really mean? Because this right here is one of the most important concepts you will walk away with today, your digital footprint. It's the place where your business exists online and how consistently it tells your story. And your website is only one piece because Google is scanning and it is scanning everywhere. It is scanning your Google business profile. It is scanning your social platforms. It is scanning business directories. It is scanning review sites. And it is cross-checking and cross-referencing everything. If your story is inconsistent, then trust drops. And when trust drops, visibility drops. So there has to be consistency in every piece of the footprint. Every single place that your business exists online and how consistently it tells your story is critical to having a solid footprint. Because AI is always validating the consistency of that footprint. So I want you to think about all of these places. Number one, are you visible there? And number two, how consistent is the message? Is the message the same every place that you're present? And then think in terms of things like name, address, and phone number. Are they the same in every place? Have you moved locations? Has the phone number changed? Have you changed the website? All of those things matter because AI is scanning your entire online presence. It's not just about your website. And a weak digital footprint is going to create low trust, which will then create low visibility. Every component matters. Now, anytime you hear me talk, you're going to hear me talk about your ecosystem. And your ecosystem is what creates the advantage. Most remodelers that I meet treat marketing like it's a checklist. It is not a checklist. You can't go website check, Facebook check, ads check. That's not what works. Your marketing has to work like an ecosystem. Everything connected, everything reinforcing, everything interacting, because multiple exposures are what creates certainty. It's what creates that omnipresence. And certainty is what drives interaction. The companies that are winning today, they are the ones where people say, I see you everywhere. That's not luck. That is structure by design. And here's the strategic shift. Your marketing has to function as a connected system, not as a set of isolated tactics. And what this does is it creates a multiplier effect. Multiple exposures across different platforms drive decision-making certainty. Here's an insight for you, and I want you to grab a hold of this. You actually don't need more leads, you need more presence. The companies that win are the ones that people see everywhere. If you'll allow me to get a little humorous with you for a moment, and I hope you can relate, most people start their day on the toilet with this in hand, scrolling away. They need to see you there. As they move on with the day, they are going to be on a laptop, a desktop. Throughout the day, they're going to be back on this device. In the evening, they're going to be at home. They might be on a tablet. They might be on a laptop. They need to see you everywhere. Throughout the day, they may be on Facebook, Instagram, doing Google searches. They may be on YouTube. They may be on TikTok. You need to know where your audience is going to be, and you need to be visible in those locations. Multiple platforms, multiple devices, multiple modalities. Are you visible in those locations? Omnipresence. Your ecosystem has to encompass all of the places that your prospective customer is going to be. This is how AI evaluates you. It looks at your structural integrity. So you have to think of your marketing like a structure. There are 4 pillars. Presence. Are you showing up everywhere? It's where you are. It is the breadth of your ecosystem. Then there's consistency. Is your message aligned? Is the message identical everywhere? Because AI cross-checks your story. Then there's authority. Are others validating you? Do external sources refer to you? Backlinks, Better Business Bureau, chambers of commerce. There's engagement. Are people interacting with you? Do real people talk about you? Do they click? Do they spend time on your site? Do they review you? If one of these pillars breaks, then the whole structure gets weak. And here's the danger. If your Facebook says one thing and your website says another thing, then AI downgrades your authority. And if this happens, you lose search visibility. And the problem is, this is happening whether you realize it's happening or not. So this becomes critical. You've got to pay attention to the strength of your pillars. Make sure your pillars are staying strong, because inconsistency is going to fracture trust. So you've got to make sure that there's consistency in all 4 pillars. At the end of the day, everything comes down to this one word: trust. High ticket remodeling is not a logical decision first. It is emotional first. People make buying decisions with emotion first, and then they reinforce those decisions with logic. People are asking, can I trust you? And they answer that through reviews. They answer that through photos and videos, through your content, through your consistency. So let me simplify this. People don't hire remodelers, they hire certainty. Your marketing's job is to remove fear before the first call ever happens. Trust is your ultimate ranking factor. The psychology requires both emotional and logical validation. So, high quality reviews plus high quality project photos and videos plus deep content plus data consistency will create unshakable certainty in the mind of the consumer. And so, if you'll do that, you'll remove fear, you'll remove that objection, you'll remove that stumbling block before the first call ever gets made. It will make your sales process stronger, it will improve your closing ratios, and it will improve your marketing overall. Now, there are 5 load-bearing assets you have to control. If these 5 assets are not dialed in, nothing else you do is going to matter. Your website is your central hub. It has to have clear messaging. It has to be highly conversion focused. It cannot just be a pretty brochure. It's got to point people to the next step to take action. And it has to load instantly. It's got to be fast. Then there is your Google Business Profile. It is your local engine. It has to have active reviews. It has to have weekly updates. And it needs to have comprehensive service lists. The third thing is your content engine. That is your blog and your video, and I did say video, answering real client questions, and that is your localized authority engine. And video is important because the AI algorithms are looking for video content. In fact, that is how the large language models are trained. They are trained from the transcripts of those short form videos in particular, 60 seconds or less. So video is critical. Then you have your validation engine. That's your social platforms. Facebook and Instagram in particular are used for visibility and social validation. This is where you show off your best work. And then you have your authority layer, your listings. These are your claimed and optimized profiles on the Better Business Bureau, House, and other local directories. Most businesses we come across tend to be weak in at least 2 of these areas. And so you want to look at all 5 of these and see where do you need to strengthen up these load-bearing assets. You need to control them. They need to be strong. That's going to give you the best structure. Because when you strengthen all 5 of these, everything else will start to work better. When they're all 5 strengthened, you're going to have good synergy. When they're dialed in, you're going to find things work smoother. You're giving the AI a solid foundation to work with, and you're giving it a lot of information to read and a lot of reasons to present you as the logical choice for the consumers in your area. Now let's talk about the content matrix. Here's where most people get content wrong. They write what they want to say instead of answering what the customer is actually searching for. So let's talk about the difference between this. Our company history. Well, truth is nobody cares. The cost of a kitchen remodel in your city, that's valuable. So if you answer real questions, you're going to become the expert. And when AI sees that, it elevates you. So stop writing about what you want to say and start answering the questions that consumers are actually searching for. So you want to create client serving content. Cost of a kitchen remodel in your city. Best way to lay out a master bath. What to expect during demolition. Top mistakes to avoid when hiring a remodeling contractor. Those are client serving and they have high search volume. And so here's the way to determine that. Create a matrix. What is client serving and has high search volume? High and to the right is your best content. Low search volume and self-serving are things like our company history, awards we've won, and look at our trucks. Those are content pieces that are not going to move the needle for you. So create a matrix, do a little research, get on ChatGPT or some other AI engine, and simply ask, what are the top client serving, high search volume topics I should be creating content on? And let that list form and start creating your content around that. Here's a key insight for you. Blog content must align with real multi-step search behavior. If you answer the high friction questions, AI is going to actually crown you as the expert. So find out what the audience is asking and start answering those questions, and AI will begin to surface you more and more as the local expert and authority in your area. Let's talk about video. I'm going to bring this up again. Video is so critical in this AI-driven search world. It is your competitive edge, and you would be amazed at how many people are afraid to use it. Video wins over and over again, not because it's fancy, but because it builds trust faster. A raw 2-minute video on a job site will outperform a perfectly written article, hands down, time and time again. And here's the reason why. Because people can see you, they can hear you, and they trust you. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Imperfect visibility will beat invisible perfection every time. Pick up your smartphone, look at it, hit the button, and start talking. Video builds trust faster. It is instantly indexed by AI. It frequently outranks text-only answers, as I mentioned before. They actually use short-form video to train the large language models from the transcripts. So it's very valuable content. And if you're trying to become an authority and an expert, there's no better way to do it. A raw, imperfect 2-minute video shot on a job site will consistently outperform a 2,000-word article. Don't miss that. And here's the deal. Not one video in particular is going to be the difference maker. It's just being consistent and doing it over and over again. It's back to omnipresence. You want to be the person that people see over and over again. You want to be inescapable. Let's call out the real problems. Here is where most remodelers are failing. They are relying only on referrals. They are ignoring reviews. Their messaging is inconsistent. They hire marketing technicians instead of strategists. And here's what happens. They get an unpredictable pipeline. They lose opportunities. They waste budget. And here's the sad truth. Tactics without strategy will drain your money because you don't need more tools, you need alignment. And what happens is you get these common structural failures. When you rely exclusively on word of mouth and referrals, you get unpredictable revenue pipelines, zero visibility in an AI generated search review and overview world. When you are ignoring or loosely managing online reviews, you get high prospect drop off during the invisible research phase because you flunk the trust test. When you have inconsistent brand data and messaging across different platforms, AI downgrades your structural authority and your local map pack rankings plummet. You just don't get recommended. It's as though you don't exist. And when you hire tactical technicians instead of holistic strategists, you get wasted marketing budget on isolated tools, and there's no cohesive system alignment. Nothing is working together synergistically. And so the real insight is tactics without strategy are going to just simply drain your budget. You actually don't need more software tools. What you need is architectural alignment. You need everything working together in synergy. Everything has to cooperate together. So I want to give you a 90-day structural build. This is how you fix it. It's not an overnight fix, but it will help you move the needle quickly. It'll help you fix inconsistencies and get on track. So month number one, develop your foundation. Do a complete footprint audit. Take a look at your entire online footprint. Audit everything. Fix your broken and inconsistent listings. And then make sure your core messaging is aligned with your website hub. Does everything match up to what's on your website? That's your central hub. In month number two, take a look at the content frame. Start working on that. Publish 4 to 8 utility-driven blog posts, high and to the right, high search volume, answering consumer questions, and then shoot and upload 8 to 12 short job site videos answering frequently asked questions. And then month number 3 is your expansion phase. Distribute your content across the entire ecosystem, build high authority citations, and then implement active audience engagement. And here's the key: consistency beats intensity. So you don't have to do everything overnight. You just need to do the right things consistently over and over again. Because you're not going to fix a broken foundation overnight, but you can shift your momentum and you can shift it very quickly. Now, here's a case study. This is a result when you build things correctly. You go from invisible to being everywhere, and then something interesting happens. People stop asking, "Why are you so expensive?" And they start saying, "I see you everywhere. You're the right choice. You're who I want to work with." That's when you shift from price competition, which is a downward spiral to the bottom, to authority. So moving a remodeler from a weak invisible footprint to a dominant interconnected presence, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. The isolated approach is you've got a website and maybe a Facebook page, low visibility, low trust. The leads are just price shoppers. Are you cheaper than the next remodeler? The interconnected system is you have a very cohesive social media network, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You may be on places like House, You've got content, blog content, videos. You're on your Google business profile. It's active. They can find you on Google Maps. You've got online reviews coming in regularly. You're answering those reviews. Your website is active. You've got project videos, project photographs. They're high resolution, well lit, well documented, and your prospects are telling you, I see you everywhere. That's the shift that takes place. You're no longer facing the price objections because people want to work with you. You are in demand. And that's the way that you want to structure your business. You want to be the in-demand remodeler for your area. Let's see if I can get this admit button to work. Yeah, didn't make it. That's what happens when you show up at the end of the webinar. So there's a mindset shift. You're no longer just a contractor. You are a media company that remodels homes. In the AI world, you have to think that way. You have to feed the AI machine that is going to drive the homeowners you're looking for to your doorstep. Because if you don't tell your story, someone else will be telling their story. And that's the hard truth for you today. You're not just a remodeling company. You are a marketing company, a media company, and it is the best marketer who wins the job, not always the best builder. So the question is, are you going to adapt to this? Are you going to get left behind by it? And so you've got to learn to start telling your story. You've got to start telling your story so that AI understands your story. And when you tell your story well, you are going to be the go-to leader in your marketplace. So step one, do your footprint audit. And we would love to help you do that. Let us map exactly where your foundation stands today and what needs fixing. We'd love to do a discovery call with you. We'd love to do a strategy call with you. And you can do that by scheduling it at remodelingmarketingteam.com/get-started, or you can call us at 888-350-7859. We'd love to help you figure out what's working, what's not, and what to do next. That's what we do. We'll walk you through your footprint, through your structure, and through your opportunities. No guesswork, just clarity. And love to open it up for questions. If you've got questions, put those in the chat. And like I said before, I've got a white paper for you on Google CEO's interview about the future of search. You can ask for that at carl@remodelingmarketingteam.com. Send me an email. If you've got questions, put those in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Give you a couple of moments to do that. All right, it looks like we don't have any questions, so I'm going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you for taking time to join us on today's webinar, and look forward to having you on our next webinar. It'll be same time next month. We'll put out information on that webinar. Hope you have a great day today, and talk to you again soon.